Hey Stampers, Diane Dimich here with ddStamps.com, and today I'm here to do my monthly tutorial for June. It's amazing to me that we're almost halfway through June. Thank you for coming. I'm going to just go ahead and probably jump right in. So I do want to let you know that I've been crazy busy since I got back from Alaska. So I went on Alaska cruise with Stampin' Up. We got home on Monday, went back to work, and of course had lots of month end, beginning of the month, all that stuff happened. So I've been crazy busy, but I did get the In Color Club out yesterday. So that went out to those people that are In Color Club members. And I've got the packets ready for the May tutorial, the silly old bear tutorial I did for May. Anybody that purchased $50 or more. So those packets are going out tomorrow. I've got everything set to go. I just need to print some mailing labels and get them put out, but I'll get them all out tomorrow for sure. So that will be done. And then we'll move on to what I should have done in June. All right, so I'm going to go ahead. We're going to just talk a few minutes here about what's going on with Stampin' Up. So just so you are aware, Stampin' Up is offering free shipping today, tomorrow, and Saturday. So any order over $75 that you, anything that you order over $75 is free shipping. So that's always exciting. And free shipping is great, but then you start adding on the perks that you get. So you'll get the monthly tutorial for me for June, and I will show those cards. And actually, that's what I'm making tonight, is the cards in the monthly tutorial. You'll get a packet of supplies from me if your order's over 50, so $75, you'll get the packet of supplies to complete those. Hey, welcome, Karen. I'm glad you're here. You're a hot Florida, and we're kind of cold in Montana this week. I actually had to turn the heat back on at my house yesterday because it was getting so cold. Also, $75 qualifies you for the product of the month, which the new one for this month is this adorable Wild Bunch stamp set. It's really cute. I've got it here. I haven't even opened it yet, but I plan to hopefully this weekend get in some stamping time to play with that product of the month. So product of the month is offered to those people who place an order of $75 or more. They can purchase this stamp set for $5. That's a pretty good deal. And also for $70 in that $75 price range, I partner with 11 other demonstrators, and we do tutorials for the product of the month. And so those tutorials are available to anybody that places a $75 or more order. I just send you it's PDF of all 12, and they're all different. We're all very different stampers, and we're actually from all over the world, but it is kind of fun to share that with each other. All right, Paper Pumpkin. I'm just going to quick talk about Paper Pumpkin because this month is kind of cute. Paper Pumpkin just went out today. I noticed today that they were actually putting them into our orders, but this Paper Pumpkin is for July. So Paper Pumpkin can be ordered from like June 11th to July 10th. It's obviously birthday cards. There's 9 cards, 3 of each. I think they're really cute. They're shaped cards, as you can see. The other thing about Paper Pumpkin is if you are a subscriber to Paper Pumpkin, there's a die set that comes out every quarter. And this is the new die set that is available now for anybody that's in Paper Pumpkin. And actually the die set coordinates with the next 3 months. So as you can see, the little flowers and the leaves are part of this Paper Pumpkin for July. So I think that's it. Oh, Last Chance List is updated. For those people who haven't checked it out, Last Chance List is updated, and it also has discounted items in there. So there's that. I know, there's always something. All right, I'm going to flip my camera and we're going to go ahead and get started. So I'm going to show you the Wild Bunch stamp set. This is it. You can see these images are actually much bigger than they look. And that's always the case with me now. I don't know why. Because most of our stuff that Stampin' Up does, they show them actually smaller in the catalogs or online. But that's a good size stamp set. So I'm playing with that this weekend. I can't wait. I got a couple cards I wanted to show that I received in the mail this week. And this one, I don't know if you can see, but on this one, it's got Wink of Stella on it. But she This was from my friend Carla. Oh no, this is from Carla's daughter, Candace, but I bet Carla made it. Anyway, she colored the back of the vellum on this shell and then put a little Wink of Stella on there. I like that. And then I got this one from my upline with Stampin' Up. I like the shape of this card. This is one of the new peach stamp sets that, I don't know, I think it's available now. But she did a fine job on this little card. I like that fold. Hey, Joan, welcome. All right. Oh, the other thing I wanted to talk about was my Create With Me Club. So Create With Me Club is something I do each month. It's a subscription, but I also sell it as a one-time kit, and I also sell just the tutorial now. And I just had a discussion this afternoon with one of my new demonstrators that's in my team, and I think I'm going to start adding my Create With Me Club's tutorials into my team page where they have access to all of my tutorials. So there's a bonus for you, Joan. I'll get to work on that. It might take me a little bit of time to put them on there, but when I do, I'll let the team know. All right, so these are the cards for this month. There's 5 cards this month. The kits come with a half a pack of the Designer Series paper, a pack of embellishments, and the ribbon that we used in the cards. And you get to make 2 of each with envelopes. And of course, I decorate my envelopes. This one was fun. This was a fun tutorial to do. I wasn't sure that I really cared for all this little fussy cutting. Not fussy cutting, because these are all dies. But these flowers went together really well, and I love it. So that is the Create With Me Club. Okay, so now the dog's going to bark because I'm talking. I don't know if she's barking yet. She's barking at me. I don't know. Maybe somebody came in the door. I'm trying to listen. Sorry. All right. We're just going to go ahead and get started. If somebody came in, well, catch me online. Oh, well. It's happened before. This is the stamp set I'm using tonight. All Aflutter. Of course, it's a butterfly set. And Maureen just said to me, who needs another butterfly set? I do. So it's a bundle that comes with the punch. And this is the one we're using tonight. So this is my tutorial for June. I have to keep thinking, what day is it? All right. The paper that I'm using is called Everyday Essentials Mix and Match Designer Series paper. The colors that coordinate with it are Bubble Bath, Crumb Cake, Darling Duckling, Lost Lagoon, and Misty Moonlight. And you'll see I used a lot of that in my cards. I love this paper. It's very different because when you look at it, it doesn't, usually they're all so nicely coordinated. But these are like, I love the pink. This is Bubble Bath. This notebook paper reminds me of high school when I was in accounting. But I love this side. Lots of different patterns in here that kind of coordinate together. And this, of course, is one of my absolute favorites. All right, so that's the paper that we're going to use. And I'm just going to go ahead and start. And so the first card, this is the first card that I did. And as you can see, it's a pretty simple card. This tutorial was actually pretty simple. I quick did it before I left on the cruise. All right, so this is a piece of cardstock, is Bubble Bath, which is not a color I use very often, but I do love this. And I'm also using Bubble Bath ribbon. And I just do love the coordination. It really makes it simple. All right, so to begin with, I'm going to take this piece of Designer Series paper, and I'm going to actually tie a bow around it. And just so you're aware, this is how I measure for my bows and my knots. So if I'm going to do a bow on a card, I will go 1, 2, 3, 4 lengths of, or 4 widths of the base for a bow. If I'm going to do a knot, I just do 3 widths. This is such a nice little ribbon. It's so tiny. But I'm just going to go ahead and tie this right around that Designer Series paper. Make sure I'm not all thumbs tonight. Yay. And then once I've done my ribbon or my bow, then I just can do some adjusting. I'm going to move it down. I'm going to move it over. kind of get it situated where I want it. Trim off this edge. I need to clean my scissors again. All right, so here's the designer series paper with the ribbon on it. And then I'm going to flip this over and using my adhesive. So what I do with my adhesive normally is I put one at the bottom, one at the top, and then I actually put some on either side of that ribbon to keep it kind of in the right place where I want it. And I layer it on there, and I just leave a nice border around the edge. And I usually just eyeball it because that's just how I am. All right, now I'm going to take this piece of paper here, and I'm going to start with my butterflies. And so on these particular butterflies, I used the outline stamp, which is this one, and then the solid stamp. So this is a two-step stamp set. When I first started stamping, two-step stamping was my absolute favorite. Make sure you don't put the ink pad in the wrong way like I just did. I'm going to start with my darker color first, and I'm going to do the outline first. And I will tell you, when I put these stamps on my block, I did look at my punch so that I kind of have them lined up. As you can see, I wanted them to be about the same way that the punch is so that it's easy to slide up onto the cardstock onto the cardstock so that when I punch it. All right, I'm using Bubble Bath. I'm going to ink this up. And then because I use that dark image, I can actually line these butterflies up fairly quickly because I can see right through. I might have to put my head in the way here a little bit. Hopefully you can see that. But you can get them lined up where you want them. And punch that down. And then I'm going to slide my punch up there. Get it kind of lined up where I want it. Punch those out. And I've got 3 butterflies to add to my card. I better close these ink pads before I'm really sorry. Because if I don't, I will end up with ink on the back of my cardstock. I'll have it everywhere. All right, so let's bring my card in here. Some dimensionals. I put them on with dimensionals. And these are butterflies. They're not very, they only need 1 dimensional. They don't need any more than that. And if you wanted to, you could actually bend your wings a little bit and make them look like they have a little dimension to them. Just add these on. I use Misty Moonlight and Bubble Bath. If you guys have questions, feel free to ask me in the comments. I can see the comments. All right, so then I'm going to take this sentiment, and I'm actually just going to line it up. I'm going to watch this line right here so that I can get that straight. Stamp that down. And then I'll bring in my cutter. And I'm going to go ahead, I'm kind of just guiding this with the gutter of the cutter. So it looks like it's 3/4 of an inch. Oh, I cut it wrong. Let's do it again. I'm going to cut the paper this time. I don't know if you saw it, but it was very crooked. That's actually thicker. All right, let's do this one over. I might want to cut this a little bit thicker. This looks like it's 1 inch, which 1 inch is much easier to work with. But this will work. So it might be better to cut your paper first. It's easier to line up. Trim off that edge because I don't need it. And then I'm going to cut this into a banner. I do that technique a lot. Let me move this. And then we're going to bring my card back in, and this is also going to go on with dimensionals. And one of the things I do, like with this one, is I'll put one up above and then one down below. And I don't really think it needs many more than that. I'm not really a huge, cover it with adhesive. But what my goal is here is to get that ribbon to be kind of right down the middle, smack dab the middle of that banner. And that will help the ribbon stay in place too. Yeah, I ruined tons of cards, Joan, by forgetting to shut my pads. So there's card number 1. Super simple, but still cute. And if you wanted to, you could add the little Winkostella, because Winkostella adds fun to every card. All right, the next card coming in with, all the cardstock was supposed to be cut and ready to go. Let me find that piece. I know I cut it, but then I must have stuck it away somewhere. I just need to cut this one down a little bit. All right. So this is going to be 5.5. I do love butterfly cards. The thing is with butterfly cards is you cannot go wrong. I'm just checking the measurement on this. Okay. You can't go wrong, because who doesn't like butterflies? And there are, you could use butterflies for thank yous, sympathy, birthday, everything. All right, so this is Lost Lagoon. And had you asked me a year ago, I use Lost Lagoon on everything. I haven't used it for a while, so it was kind of fun to pull it back out. It's still my favorite color. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so this piece is just going to go on here. This is like a monochromatic card. In fact, what did I do? Oh, here, I tossed it over here. Here's the card. I'll put it up there so we can actually see what we're working with. We are going to adhere this onto my Lost Lagoon base. Like that. And then I cut just 2 little strips of one of the papers, because I like the look of it. And so this is just going to get added right to the bottom, and then another one to the top. So I just cut off one of the strips. Let me show you the paper. So like this is the paper I used. I just put it into my cutter, and then I just cut right down the middle there because there's a space. And then I cut them the width of my card. So it was 5.5. And then I'm just going to line that up at the top. And if I need to, I can always flip this open, and you can see where there's a little white edge there. It's just because I don't always get my measurements exactly right. I can just trim that off with a scissor. And I'm going to do the same on this side because I see white on this side too. I don't know what she's barking at now. No, I think she's just barking to bark. All right, so there is my card so far. Now I'm going to go ahead and come in. We'll use this piece of scrap. I think this will work. And this time I'm going to use Misty Moonlight. And then for the solid piece, let me grab something to clean that off with. Of course, I left my cleaners. I guess I'll just use my pants. I'm going to go ahead with the Lost Lagoon. Get some Lost Lagoon on there. And again, we're going to line it up. And because I did the dark image first, I can really see really well exactly where that one's supposed to go. And then I'm going to go ahead, line up my punch. I really find punches make things so easy and so fast. Now, when you're using our punches, the only thing you got to be careful of, in my opinion, is don't get the fat in your hand stuck in between there, because it really hurts when you pinch it down. Ask me how I know. All right, so I have 3 butterflies. I'm only going to use one on the outside of the card. So again, I'm going to put it on with a dimensional. And just add it on there. And then I'm going to take the stamp that is the little dots. And I'm going to use that Misty. So this is just the little dots of flying. And then I'm going to take, this one's going to be a Thinking of You Today card. So this is one of the things I do sometimes with my sentiments. I will put one on one side and one on the other, only because then I don't have to switch out blocks while I'm stamping. And this one is going on with Misty Moonlight, and I'm lining it up right along for this line right here to keep my sentiment straight. Let's see how I did. Yay. So there is my card, and then I can take my other 2 butterflies, and I did that here and did the inside of the card where I just attached these 2 butterflies on there and then did the dotted line, and I also stamped a little friend inside there. So just another way to decorate the inside of your cards, but really quick. And again, if you want to give it some little pizzazz, there's always rhinestones or my favorite, Wink of Stella. All right, card number 3. All right, so this card uses our thick white cardstock. I like to, if I'm going to use the white cardstock as a base for my card, I use the thick, and I'm telling you, it is thick. It just gives it just has a really nice feel for your cards. All right, so I have that piece, and then I'm going to go ahead and add my designer series paper right onto there. That. And then I have this other little piece of the designer series paper. You could use either side. I'm going to use the side that has the Lost Lagoon on it because I'm using Lost Lagoon ink. Again, to cut my banner, I just go up the middle or close to the middle and then cut into each side. And that's going to get attached onto my card base. I'm lining it up with the top of that designer series paper like that. All right. Now I am going to have to clean the stamps because I'm going in with Lost Lagoon. So let me grab, I don't know what I did with I'll just grab a paper towel, I guess. I don't really like to use paper towel very often because the little fibers get on the stamp sometimes. And then you have a mess. No, it just gets on there and then sometimes it picks up ink and stamps it on and smears your card. But all right, I just made sure that they're pretty good. All right, so I'm just going to use Lost Lagoon for this one this time. And I'm going to start with, again, with my image, and I'm going to go full strength Lost Lagoon. Yeah, it's just a matter of practicing on that banner. I wish I had a secret method that would, make it perfect. So first I stamped those butterflies with Lost Lagoon. And then I'm going to come in, I grab a little piece of scratch paper here. I'm going to go ahead and ink up. I think my Lost Lagoon probably needs some more ink. I'm going to ink up the Lost Lagoon. I'm going to stamp it off. And then I'm going to bring it over to my image. Line that up. And again, I can see well because the outlines are darker. Stamp that down. And when you stamp it off, you just get a really nice light shade of Lost Lagoon. And then I'm going to line that up, punch them out. Hope they didn't fly too far. There they are. All right. Again, they're going on with dimensionals. The one thing I liked about these cards is that you could use any designer series paper that you have, and any inks that you have, and make them fast and cute with any kinds of paper. All right. We'll put one down here. Spread out my butterflies. I mean, I could actually, instead of just always doing 3 butterflies, I could do 6 butterflies or 5 butterflies because they stamp so fast and they punch out so easy. Okay, we'll put that one up there. Then I'm going to take that little dotted line, and this time I better clean this before I have Misty Moonlight in my Lost Lagoon, which, believe me, happens. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and ink up this little stamp, and then just come in behind my butterflies here and stamp them down. All right, so now we're going to take the stamp that says, okay, this is a stamp that says, you are so appreciated. And I want to show you, if I could find the stamp set here. You are so appreciated. It's a long stamp. But I'm going to stamp it. I'm going to move that off for a minute. So you can see it. It's a long stamp. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a piece of cardstock. I'm going to start again with this piece, and I'm going to stamp it on the bottom here. And I like to line things up because I can see that white paper. It's easy for me to line up my sentiments and have them be straight. So to begin with, I'm just going to ink up appreciated. So what I do is I take my ink pad. Oh, I'm going to use Misty. I'm going to clean my, first I'm going to clean my stamp again because I just got it mucked up. All right, so I'm going to use Misty Moonlight. And I'm just going to ink up appreciated. And so I will come into my ink pad. I don't know if you could see that, but appreciated is right at the edge. So that's all that got stamped. And I'm going to stamp that down. So look at your stamps a little differently. I'm going to clean this stamp off now, but look at your stamps a little differently because you can rearrange your sentiments, only use parts of them. So I clean that off because I don't, I'm going to stamp, you are so above it, but I don't want this part, appreciated, to show up at the end here. So again, I'm just going to line that up, ink up you are so, line it where I want it, like right over the top of appreciated, and just changed up what it looks like. So you can use, parts of your stamps, one word here, one word there, lots of different ways to use your stamps. And I'm going to come in here. I think this will be, yeah, we'll do 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to show you a bit, Joan, when you can't do a banner, this is my other go-to. Can't do a banner? Just go at an angle and go at an angle. And it's easy and it's fast and it just gives your sentiment just a little bit different look. So if banners are a struggle, just go at an angle. All right, I'm going to trim this up. I noticed that my blade on my cutter is getting dull. I'm having a lot of fuzzies on my cardstock cuts. So I'm going to go ahead, pull that off, put that on there. And it just wanted to show you how to change your stamps up and use them different ways. And then also, if you don't like to do a banner, do an angle. Card number 3. All right, the 4th card, the last one. This was a fun card. I love this layout. This is one of those layouts that you can do with any designer series paper. So I cut them already. And again, I'm using Bubble Bath. Bubble Bath cardstock. All right, so there's my base. I'm going to go ahead and use a piece of basic white, and I'm going to add my pieces of cardstock. I want to leave, I don't know if you guys can see that. Oh, yeah, you can. I'm leaving a little bit of a banner or an edge. I'm going to do the same with this one. These are cut just a little bit differently. That's not square. So all I need to do, so if I look at it this way, I can see that my borders are going to be too big, so the paper needs to go this way. And then I'm kind of lining it up at the top of the edge of this one and making sure I have a border there that's straight. And then we'll add the other piece. Oh, this one's cut a little bit long. I'm going to take 1/8 of an inch off that bottom. I guess I didn't check close enough to make sure that I had them cut correctly. I know, Karen, I feel the same way. Bubble Bath is one of those colors that kind of gets lost in the file. And I love the color. And I love oh, this is crooked. All right. I got to pull it up. I love the color. I love that we have ribbon that coordinates. It's just a really soft pink. See if I do better that time. Yeah, better. All right, now let me add this one. And I used the pink side, but you definitely could go with the Lost Lagoon. It would give you a totally different look on your card. I liked the Bubble Bath side. Lay that on there. And then I'm going to take my ribbon. And again, I'm going to use how I measure it. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to do a bow. If I was going to do a knot, I'd only do 3, but I'm going to do a bow. I'm going to do it basically the same I did on the first card. It's going to wrap around, instead of just designer series paper, it's going to come around this piece of cardstock with designer series paper on it. Tie it into a bow. Pull it tight. All right. Then I'm going to kind of do a little adjusting on my bow. And I want my bow to kind of come right across that line there. That's just me. We'll trim this piece off. Maybe. Time to sharpen up my scissors. And then I'm going to flip it over. Adhesive on the bottom, adhesive on the top, adhesive. So that it holds the ribbon kind of in place. I have dimensional papers everywhere. Line this up. And then I'm going to come in with a piece of paper. We'll use this scrap here. This time we're going to do the same thing we did with the Lost Lagoon, but we're going to do it with Misty Moonlight. So we're going to do full strength Misty Moonlight. Stamp those butterflies. And then I'm going to come in. Let me grab my piece of scrap paper somewhere. It's so funny. It's funny how things, oh, there it is. Things disappear so quickly. All right, so I'm going to go ahead now and ink up the solid butterflies. Stamp them off once, and then bring them over my image here. Line them up. Close enough. Well, Linda, I'm glad you made it. You can always go back and watch it from the beginning. I don't know if I'm live, I think it comes in where I am at, but so I'm lining it up, the butterflies. Punching them down. Yeah, the dogs, Joan, the dogs have dimensionals on them when they're running around the house. They're everywhere. Just the little backings. And again, I'm going to go ahead and Add them all with a dimensional. And then I'm going to tack that one down. I want that ribbon to hold the, or that, I wanted the butterfly to tack down the ribbon. And then I'm going to take a stamp. There it is. I keep fluttering by to say hi. And just stamp it right down in this square. Card number 4 is done. So these are the cards for this month's tutorial. I loved how that one pack of paper made them all look just a little bit different. And the colors are all different. So really, I mean, sympathy, just a note, thank you, birthday, it's all good. All right. I'm going to come back on. If you have any more questions, now would be the time to ask because I'm almost done. It's time for me to go have a little bit of dinner and I don't know, I might have to water the lawn or something. All right. I'll wait a few more seconds for a comment or a question to pop up. Give me a like. I'd love it. Give me a share. That'd be great. I started on Tuesdays now. I'm going to be doing a Tuesday quick live on Facebook, I think is where I started it. And then I'll post it up to YouTube. But it's just kind of what's going on for the week. So Tuesdays, I'll give you a little heads up of what's going on with Stampin' Up and what's going on with me and if I'm going to be live on that following Thursday. My goal is to stay organized enough throughout the summer that I continue to do these Thursday lives every Thursday, unless I have a class. I do one class here in Red Lodge a month, and that's usually on Thursdays. So anyway, take care, enjoy, have a good night, and enjoy summer. I'm excited. Summer's a good time of year. It's kind of fun. All right. Thanks, everybody. Talk to you later. Bye.